true story, taken from an actual medical file.
Good evening, and welcome once again to Medical File. Just this afternoon, in anticipation of your coming, I was going through my files. Among them, I came across the name of Henry Holland, and I knew that I had found this evening's story. It was my privilege to meet the late Sir Henry Holland during one of that cantankerous and extraordinary old gentleman's lecture tours through England, following his reluctant retirement from the Christian Medical Missionary Service in India. That meeting was a true revelation. In order to see what I mean, won't you listen to this powerful story of a man who broke down the barriers of hate, fear, and superstition, and brought healing to the wildness of the Northwest frontier.
Bristol-Myers, makers of new Vote toothpaste, take great pleasure in presenting Medical File. Factual stories of the men and women whose vigilance guards our lives. A reconstruction of clinical case histories, step by step with the doctors who were there. Tonight, you'll hear the story That People Might See by Glenn Hamilton in Medical File.
The entire building's shaking, breaking up about me. What is it? An earthquake. Is that it? But it sounds like the end of the world.
Dr. Saab.
Yes?
Help us. You must come quickly, I beg you.
Yes, I'm coming, Ranjit. Coming at once. What's happening, man? What is this?
It is the wrath of the Lord, Dr. Saab. The wrath of the Lord, and before it we are helpless.
Don't be a fool, Ranjit. What's happening out there? Tell me at once. Control yourself and talk sense.
Dr. Saab, an earthquake in the whole of Quetta is crumbling and breaking around us. It is the end. You will see. Come outside.
Stop that, Ranjit. Go now. Get together as many of the hospital staff as you can. We'll need all the help we can find. I'll be right with you as soon as I can find my bag. Oh, what a shambles in here.
Oh, Dr. Saab, guard yourself! Dr. Saab, Holland Saab, can you hear me? I will help you. Oh, the doctor is dead. He must be dead. Dr. Holland is dead. There is nothing that can be done for us now.
That was Ranjit's one big failing. His tendency to exaggerate every situation. Apart from that, he was a delightful chap and a decided asset to our hospital at Quetta. I'd been there for 35 years when the earthquake occurred. Where is Quetta, you ask? Well, Quetta is the southern bastion of the famous country of India's northwest frontier. It's a Kipling-esque region of rocky desert wastes, barren hillsides, and blood-stained passes like the Khyber. A battleground between warring tribes and invaders from the north for 3,500 years. I'd come there as a doctor and a Christian missionary in 1900, following the receipt of my M.D. at Edinburgh University.
Good afternoon, Holland. Sit down, won't you?
Thank you, sir.
Well, Holland, we have a posting for you.
Really, sir? That's wonderful. Would it be Nigeria, as I requested?
Unfortunately, no. We are full in West Africa, I'm afraid. There are just no positions we need to fill.
I see, sir.
Instead, we would like you to go to Quetta.
Where's that, sir?
A difficult place, my dear Holland. On the northwest frontier of India. The mission is new, built in 86. And we are gaining a foothold there, but it will not be easy. Will you go?
It's God's will, sir. I'll go.
Stout lad. You'll do well. I've no doubt of it.
You mentioned difficulties, sir. Can you tell me of them, please?
With pleasure, Holland. The place we're sending you, Quetta, is a hotbed of violence, dissension, and tribal strife. It's a strong seat of the Muslim religion, and our presence there as Christian missionaries is strongly resented. You will uncover jealousy, intrigue, and murder. To the staunch Muslims of the region, we Christians are the infidel. To kill us is a sure passport to the Muslim paradise. And there's no crime attached. It's a gesture of honor to put us to death. You'll be under constant threat of personal violence, and your work will be hampered at every turn.
It sounds as if you're sending me to a fiery forge, sir. I do not object to that, but in view of this deep-seated resistance, isn't our task a hopeless one?
As Christians and missionaries, our task is never hopeless, Holland. That is why we choose to persevere. We can get to the souls of these people through care of their bodies. Our doctors, in 4 years, have earned the grudging respect of the people, including that of persons in high places. To be sure, because of our skills, we even enjoy a measure of protection from Brahuis, Baluchis, and the Pathan tribes alike. The situation is not an impossible one. You understand, of course, Holland. You are not compelled to go.
I'll go, sir.
You please me, lad. Now, here is your official appointment to Quetta. Please check it through so that we can be sure that it's all correct.
Henry Tristram Holland, M.D., is hereby appointed to the duties of a doctor of medicine and a servant of the Church Missionary Society of the Church of England. He will take up duties upon the properties of the society and accept the commissions of its directorate at the mission station at Quetta, Baluchistan, India. All assistance is to be rendered to the said Henry Tristram Holland, M.D.
The rector had not exaggerated the situation. When I arrived at Quetta in May 1900, I found a strange and turbulent situation in existence. Marauding tribes from Baluchistan and neighboring Afghanistan roamed the land. Men of a strange mixture, swashbuckling, cruel, treacherous, brave, proud, individualistic, and strongly religious. We, the Christians, clung to life in this harsh environment only by virtue of our skills as doctors, skills that the tribesmen respected and admired and were not hesitant to use. There is a story in itself of the way in which we gained ground at Quetta, step by step, until on May the 30th, 1935, 35 years after my arrival, we had developed from the most primitive conditions to the possession of a hospital compound with facilities for 130 patients, 2 operating theaters, a laboratory, a large dispensary, and an X-ray plant, all built up from virtually nothing. Above all, over those years, we had achieved recognition and the warm respect of the people. It was no longer necessary to decapitate a Christian missionary as a guarantee of a place in the hereafter. Now, the people came to us in trust and fellowship. And we, for our part, did all in our power for them. And then the Quetta earthquake struck that night, the worst earthquake, some said, that men had ever known. Poor Ramsett was wrong. The falling masonry had struck my head, and for a while I was unconscious. When I returned to my senses, I found my assistant weeping at my side.
Holland, sir, I was so afraid. I thought you were dead, sir. Dead? And that we would be alone without you in the midst of this disaster.
It's exploded a crack on the noggin to put pain to a heart any less than terrible. Now, where did I leave my bag? I'd need of that. Quickly, Ranjit, more bandages. I need them now. Above all, bandages, man. Oh, give me the woman next. That one, I'll take her.
Oh, Ranjit, where's Dr. Khan?
Dr. Khan is reported killed, sir.
Oh, no, not Khan. And Dr. Grenfield?
Grenfield, sir, is also dead, sir.
It can't be. This is a terrible blow. Ranjit, have you any idea how many casualties that we've sustained among the staff?
I do not know the numbers, Dr. Saab. I only know that we have lost nearly everybody.
Lord, thy everlasting mercy. Well, it's up to us then, Ranjit, and anyone else we can find. Now, get me those bandages I need. Have to organize immediate work parties to bury the dead. Quickly, Ranjit, quickly. And don't forget to gather up all the serum you can for cholera. After this, we can expect an epidemic. We won through at Quetta eventually. The story of the Quetta earthquake and its shocking aftermath, told in detail, would fill volumes. Ranjit, the few survivors of our hospital staff, and I simply did our work. God was, I believe, fully with us, and in time we prevailed. In 1936, I was summoned home to London and knighted by His Majesty King Edward VIII. I must confess it was gratifying.
Sir Henry, it sounds most fitting, you know. You wear it well.
Actually, it feels a little stiff and awkward as yet. Rather like a set of new dentures, if you'll excuse the comparison.
Oh, it does sound a trifle vulgar, but understandable, I'm sure.
Bless you for your tolerance, Lady Margaret. I'll watch my tongue in future. But after 36 years of Holland Saab, Sir Henry does have a foreign side.
You must make it comfortable and wear it well. You have given so much of yourself to merit this title.
The citation stated that I received the knighthood for service in the northwest frontier country of India, and in particular for my work in the field of ophthalmology. This, I confess, has always been my first and lasting love in medicine. I remember during my early years at Quetta, I've never seen so many cataract cases. It seems that 1 in 3 people in Baluchistan has them.
It has always been so here, Dr. Saab. It is the will of God.
It is also the will of God that men shall become doctors and develop the skills necessary to combat a scourge such as this. I am in a position to do something about it. I have the skills, the knowledge, and above all the desire.
Well, objections might be raised to your doing work upon the people such as this, Dr. Saab. You are Christian, and the barriers are not down yet.
Ranjit, if we Christians cannot outlive and outlove any other religion, we don't deserve to win.
You are listening to Medical File, which is brought to you by Bristol Myers.
At Quetta, the pathos of the many blind touched me deeply. It was personally gratifying to discover that I possessed skills in the field of ophthalmology and to see them develop under training and practice in the field. But the greatest reward for me was in the actual physical curing of the blind. I loved my work with a passion and in consequence worked hard. The effort paid me great dividends. The word of my God-given abilities spread throughout the country, and the people started to flock to me. And another hitherto insurmountable barrier toppled to us. I met Seth Hiranand from Shikapur. This is a great honor, a tremendous surprise for me. Please tell me how I may help you. I'll do all that's in my power.
Holland, Sab, will you come to Shikapur and open a hospital there? I will pay for everything, gladly.
Do you know what you're saying, Seth Hiranand? Shikapur has been closed to missionaries and Christians. We're forbidden to go near the city.
Holland, Sab, trust me. There will be no forbidding, ever again. You are wanted in Shikapur. I guarantee this. Just as you have restored the sight of so many of the blinded, so you have given back sight to a whole city. We see at last, and we are ashamed. Will you come and help us, please?
I will come. Oh, yes, I will come.
I am a rich man, Holland Sab. Very rich. And truly, I want to help my people. I can think of no better way of helping them than by letting them reap the benefit that is personified in you. It will be my humble office to finance your endeavors without stint, in any field of medicine or research that you care to name. There are no restrictions. Anything you want, from bed linen to a complete operating theater, it will be yours, immediately upon demand. If I can anticipate your needs in any way, then I shall do so. Holland Sab, mere money is so little to pay for what you and your skills can do for the people of Shikapur. We want you, and far from being forbidden, our gates are thrown open to you.
I'm almost overcome. It'll be an honor to serve you, Sethiranand.
When the following year we went down to Shikapur for the first time, we found that Sethiranand had been as good as his word. A new and beautiful little hospital awaited us with 2 well-equipped operating theaters, plentiful housing accommodation, and 500 eager patients waiting. But it was not always like this. There was not always an equipped theater for me to use. I used to travel extensively in the rugged, mountainous Pathan country, and it's to eternal credit of the people there, and the mercy of God, that I was never molested once in my travels. But at any time, by chance encounter, a mountain roadside could become an operating room.
Dr. Sahib! Dr. Sahib!
Stop the horses, please, Ranjit. How may I help you? Is it the old woman?
Dr. Sahib, help her. Her eyes.
I will do what I can. Seat her. I'll get my instrument case, and we shall have an examination. Double cataracts. I think we can do something.
Can you give her her sight, Doctor?
God will decide if she can see again. I am his instrument, and will work with the skills I have. I'll do my best. Prepare the old woman. There's a mossy bank where she'll be comfortable and shaded from the sun. Lay her down there while I prepare my instruments.
Dr. Sahib, you are respected and famous throughout the land as a healer. But why do you mix this strange Christian teaching with your medicine?
Because I am a missionary doctor. The Christian medical man who says everything about the body and nothing about the soul is either a charlatan or a coward or both. Ready, Ranjit?
Ready, Holland Sahib.
To work, then, my lad. When they removed the bandages from the old woman's eyes 5 days later, her sight was returned. The word went out through the land. It echoed through the streets and was whispered in the palaces of powerful men. In response to royal summonses, I traveled to the palace of the Raja of Shigar, only 200 miles from the Tibetan border, to operate upon him. I traveled to Kabul to help the failing eyesight of the king of Afghanistan. And one day, I received a most surprising and gratifying summons. Who did you say, Ranjit?
It is incredible, Sahib. But the summons is from the Wali of Swat in person. He is going blind. He asks if you will come to him and help him.
Well, he's never been a friend of missionaries, but now he summons me. Oh, God moves in strange ways, Ranjit.
Yes, Holland Sahib. What shall be your answer?
That we're coming to the Wali at once. Make preparations to leave, Ranjit. We traveled on camelback to the Wali's palace, through the passes towards Malakand. Once arrived, we operated, and the results were good. The Wali of Swat, that fabulously powerful man, the once sworn enemy of all Christians, could see again, thanks to the ministrations of the Christian church. There was no more enmity after that. The Wali became our friend in general, mine in particular, and many were the times when we hunted together on his lands. But time rolled by without heed for the aspirations of men. I reached the compulsory retirement age of 65 in 1939. But I may assure you that I was in no mood to give up my work, and the advent of Second World War gave me a new lease. And because of the serious shortage of qualified practitioners brought about by wartime conditions, the board begs to ask you if you consider staying on in your present capacity in what is termed an extension for the duration of hostilities. We regret deeply any inconvenience these arrangements may cause you, and would stress that your acceptance is not obligatory. As far as I'm concerned, it is obligatory. Do I mind staying? What a fatuous question. By devious means, I managed to extend my extension to an 8-year period. But one day, it appeared that all was finished for me on the Northwest frontier. In 1948, I was called home. I took it, I confess, in a most unsporting manner. Stuff and nonsense, Ronald. Stuff and nonsense. Never in my life have I encountered foolishness such as this. That of a system that retires a man in his prime. Well, I'm only 74. Feel I'm barely started.
Father, you've been here for nearly 50 years. Does it always take you so long to get started?
It would seem that way, wouldn't it, Larry? Oh, I suppose if I must, then I must. Well, so be it. At least I have the pleasure of seeing myself succeeded by my own son.
You've left me a wonderful responsibility, Father. I won't disappoint you.
You never have, Ronald. I see no reason on earth why you should now. You'll be doing God's work. You'll do it well.
Thank you, sir.
But it was not the end. Not yet. Hardly had I set foot in England, still grumbling, of course, when word arrived that the tribal chiefs of Baluchistan and Afghanistan had made up a purse among themselves in order to finance my return to the country for a period each year. And as a result of this, I've been fortunate enough to be able to spend my winters on the Northwest frontier, mostly in an advisory capacity, while my summers are devoted to travels in England, where I attempt to stimulate young people to selfless service during a series of lectures and recruit people to missionary service. I have noticed, with an old man's sharp and rather intolerant eye, that the sense of adventure seems to have atrophied in modern times. Young people seem preoccupied with the seeking of security. Pioneering's in the doldrums, I believe. I can only point out, from my own great experience of this life that is given to us, that the grave is secure, but it's terribly dull. If one serves one's age well, security will usually manage to take care of itself. Yes, it's really all quite gratifying.
For me, there's an enormous comfort and satisfaction to be found in the knowledge that there are men and women like Henry Holland who will risk all they have and more to serve mankind. For there are others like him, hundreds, even thousands like him, battling incessantly for light and life and understanding across the face of the globe. I hope you'll be back again to hear more of these tales from the medical file. Until we do meet again, this is Melvin Hoffman saying good night.